Sergeant Matthew Peschke.
All right, could you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, could you pull the door toward you, have a step up, have a seat, state your name for the record, and spell your first and last name.
Matthew Peschke, Mattewpeskche.
Thank you. Go ahead, prosecute.
All right. Good afternoon, Sergeant.
Yeah.
Can you tell me or tell the jury how long you've been employed by the Oakland County Sheriff's Department?
For 20 years now.
And you are currently a sergeant, correct? And what's the scope of your assignment and duties at this moment?
My assignment and duties at this moment is I'm a detective sergeant in the Special Investigations Unit at the Oakland County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. I want to direct your attention to November 30th of 2021. Do you remember that day?
I do.
Can you recall where you were when you heard about the shooting at the Hawksburg High School?
I was at the Pontiac substation.
Okay, and can you tell the jury what you did? How did you hear about it?
My partner at the time, Kevin Thomas, came into my office, told me there was an active shooter at the Oxford High School.
And what did you do?
I grabbed a vest and I got to my car and I left for Oxford County.
Okay. Did you light some sirens as fast as you could? Did you join the caravan or did you?
I went lights. I didn't have sirens at the time.
Okay. And about how long after that did it take you to arrive at the school?
Maybe 20 minutes.
What did you do when you approached the school?
I went in through the entrance by the pool.
What did you observe when you drove into the? Could you get to the parking lot of the school?
I got into the parking lot. I double parked at that point and I went into the school.
Okay. And can you tell the jury about what time that was, if you know?
I don't know.
Were you aware of whether or not the shooter was in custody?
I had heard on the way over the radio that the shooter was in custody.
Okay. At that point, what did you know about injuries or fatalities?
I knew that there had been one or two homicides at that point and injuries. I wasn't sure how many.
Okay. So you said, which entrance did you go into?
I went in by the pool.
And what did you do?
At that point, they located other members of the sheriff's office. I did a search of that pool area with a couple other deputies. We went back, reported to command, which was being made at that point. We went back and searched a couple hallways in that pool area again, looking for survivors, witnesses, victims, anything like that.
Okay. Did you find any students?
No.
All right. What was your understanding at that point of where the students were?
From what I had heard is a lot of students had ran away from the high school to the Myers, and other students were being escorted out that were still in classrooms by other deputies.
Okay. Wait, you referenced a minute ago about command. Do you recognize this person sitting next to me?
Yes.
And who's that?
It's Lieutenant Willis.
All right. And what was his role there that day?
He was, he became the officer in charge. He was one of the command, reporting command that we go to. So
when you say command, were you finding Lieutenant Willis at that point? Was he instructing you or was somebody else instructing you?
Captain Hill was also there.
Okay. So after you cleared the pool area and another hallway with officers, what did you do next?
At that point, I was advised by command, the structure, to go to the house and the residence of Ethan and secure it.
We've decided that I've asked that we not say his name, so we refer to him in these proceedings as shooter.
Sorry.
That's okay. My fault. I should have explained that to you. You were told by command to go to the residence, and first, do you Were you told whose residence it was and who lives there, or anything about the house?
We were told to go to the shooter's residence, secure it, preserve it for evidence, and there was a search warrant being drafted.
Okay. And did you do that?
Yes.
Do you know, if you can recall, how long did it take you to get from Oxford High School to the shooter's residence?
Just a couple minutes, I believe.
Okay. Did you go by yourself or with somebody else?
I was in my own car, but I went with Deputy Steele, or Detective Steele at the time, Detective Stoyak, and Detective McPherson. Okay. I believe there was a marked unit already at the house.
And you were instructed to do what when you got there?
To get any occupants out, secure it, look for if anybody was injured, destruction of evidence, anything like that.
Okay, you mentioned a search warrant. Were you told that there was a search warrant, or they were attempting to get one? What were you told?
The search warrant was being drafted. It was not signed yet in order for us to begin our search.
Okay, is this something that you've done frequently in your career?
Yes.
All right. And what do you typically do when you arrive at a residence of any kind and you know there's a search warrant attempted? They're attempting to get a search warrant. What's the protocol?
The search warrant gives you authorization to enter the house. And to search the house, more or less. So when you arrive on scene, normally as you're entering, guns are drawn, you don't know what's in there, you don't know about animals, you don't know anything like that. You go in, you clear the house, make sure all occupants are either taken out or preserved in an area with other people, and then from that point, you hold the house and you preserve it. Normally, I make sure nobody's in there, and then we leave and have somebody watch that house. But not leave the area. We stay in the area until the search warrant is done by someone else. Okay.
When you were instructed to go to the house and do this, what did you have knowledge of regarding the shooter, his parents, what led up to it? What was your knowledge at that point?
I had knowledge of the shooter's name. I had knowledge that high school students were killed and injured, and that was pretty much about it.
Okay.
At that point.
Thank you. Did you have any knowledge about who else lived in the house?
No.
Okay, so you knew almost nothing. Is that right?
Yes,
okay.
I knew nothing when I went to the house.
Okay. When you arrived on scene, what did you observe?
I observed a male out walking in an area by it was like an awning, and then I observed a female coming out onto the porch.
All right. Do you see that at some point? Did you learn that female's name?
Yes.
What was her name?
Jennifer Crumbley.
Do you see her in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you describe something she's wearing?
She has on a tan sports coat.
May the record reflect he's properly identified the defendant.
The record will so reflect.
Okay. What did you do when you drove up to the house?
I drove up to the house. I put on a vest, and we lined up at the door and we went in.
Talk to me about why you put on a vest.
This is an active shooter scenario. I'm protecting myself with my vest. I don't know what I'm walking into.
Okay. And when you say we, who else was with you at the time?
It was McPherson, Detective Stoyak, and Detective Steele.
All right. Did anyone have their guns drawn?
Yes.
Who?
I did, and I'm almost positive everybody else did.
Why are you positive of that?
That's normal.
When you say normal, what do you mean? Is that protocol, or is that because I think for a lot of us that's not normal. So I'm trying to get you to understand, to make the jury understand why you would do something like that.
Well, like I explained, we didn't know what we were going into, so we were just making sure we were protecting ourselves.
Is that something you do frequently when you approach a house to execute a search warrant or to clear the house?
Yes.
Okay. what did you do next?
We cleared the house, and at that point, we came back outside.
Okay. At that point, did you know whether or not the defendant and her husband had been at a substation, or did you know anything about any statement they made?
No.
Okay. Did you know that they had seen their son or not?
No.
Okay. So, what did you do with or ask the defendant to do, if anything?
Can you rephrase?
Yes. At some point, you had an opportunity to interact with the defendant, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury how that happened?
She was seated in the back of a patrol car in front of the house.
Whose patrol car?
Weingart's.
Okay. And at some point, was she in the back of another patrol car?
I never saw her in the back of another patrol car.
Okay.
Deputy Zajac was also on scene in a marked car.
Okay. So what was the first interaction you had with her?
When she was in the back of Deputy is it Weingart's? I believe it's Weingart's, yeah.
Okay. And what did you do, if anything?
I advised her she wasn't in custody, and I originally jumped in the driver's seat, but then I walked around to the back seat and I opened her door.
Why did you do that?
She's not in custody. I just wanted to have a conversation with her.
Okay. Did you leave the door open or closed?
I opened it.
Okay. Did she express a preference about whether it was open or closed?
She liked it open.
All right. This conversation takes place for about 49 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Were you talking the entire time?
No.
What else were you doing while you were talking with her? Were you doing anything else? Were there breaks in that conversation?
There may have been breaks near the end of it where I was looking for further instruction.
Okay. Were you always standing right beside the car?
No.
Okay. And did she have any requests?
A cigarette or her phone.
Did you accommodate those?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, I'm going to play what's been marked as People's Proposed 342. It's the in-car video that Sergeant Peschke just introduced.
Your Honor, I have no objection.
Okay, 342 is admitted.
I do have a really quick question we can approach very, very, very quickly.